cannot get waving through a window from Dear Evan Hansen out of my head this morning, so if I start whistling it, hopefully I won't get copyright striked. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, February 22nd. It is day 22 of Plan As You Go month, where I show you how I use my Erin Condren horizontal, my power sheets, and my bullet journal in tandem for an entire month. I am in a great mood this morning, maybe because it's Friday, maybe because I got my office cleaned yesterday. It's not completely decluttered, and there are two top shelves where I really like my tchotchke shelf and my shelf with like my printer that really need to be reorganized, and I need to go through and still weed things out, but it is in a much better place than it was. Problem is that I had a list of things I wanted to do yesterday, and I actually didn't do a lot of them, partly because cleaning my office took a lot longer than I expected. I was actually up until 11 last night, finishing getting things put away and vacuuming. My husband had fallen asleep and I was vacuuming at 11 o'clock at night, and I wound up having to take a painkiller, which I'll put in my pain tracker soon, because I overdid it and was in a lot of pain last night. But it's mostly done and I am feeling really good about that. So I'm gonna check that off my power sheets, and I'll check off the other things I did as well. All right, so I have updated my power sheets. They're looking fairly good for there being, 6 more days left in the month. Hopefully I'll be able to take care of some of this stuff. I'm cooking with cauliflower tonight. My meal plans got all weirded out this week because of the changing plans. All of the other Plan As You Goes this week will kind of list off the way each day has gone differently than I expected. We wound up eating out more than I wanted to, but that just it happens sometimes. We're not gonna get to family planning time this week because we decided that custody was gonna be a little different, and we were not gonna get the kids back until next week so that my ex can get the time he missed with them. Looking at this, I don't think anything on this list is gonna happen today, except for cooking with cauliflower and like the things on the daily action items list that I'm gonna get to, and I'm okay with that. I have stuff I need to take care of today, and I'm not hating it. Now, before I get into planning with my Erin Condren today, when I was cleaning out my office, I found this cover that I had gotten a while ago, and I wanted to just use this. And I'm gonna have little plastic things all over my desk today, and I am not gonna bitch too much about it, only a little bit. Cause I'm tapping on the glass, I'm waving through a window. God damn it, why is this not working? Come on. Ah! Okay, remember I said I wasn't gonna bitch? That is a lot of little plastic shit everywhere on my desk. Oh my God. It's raining plastic. Hallelujah, it's raining plastic. Oh my God. What a mess. It's okay. I'm doing this because I want to. This is ridiculous. You may notice that I am still in my bathrobe. That is because I have not taken a shower yet this morning. Checking off the things I did get done yesterday. I did meal plan though last night, and I've got to enter that in, as well as my weather for the next, as many days. Normally when I'm working on my planner in the morning, I've taken my shower already and gotten ready for the day. Today I am not in that place, and I'm totally fine with it. I'm okay being a little bit less productive this morning and kind of taking things a little slower because I was up late last night doing some work in my office, and I'm tired. My body's still not feeling great from the overdoing it, and I don't have anywhere to be this morning. I have work to do this morning, but I don't have anywhere to be, so I figure I can take it a little slower, be a little nicer to myself, not be so hard on myself for not being ready. I actually did get up earlier than I usually get up. That's usually hard for me. Some of you guys are probably like, fuck Cindy, that's not even early at all, but for me, it's just hard because I'm so fatigued all of the time because of my kidneys, and I don't sleep very well. But today I actually woke up before my alarm and just got up, made my bed, I got some water, I did some journaling, I talked to my husband, and I did some other stuff this morning before I sat down to work in my planner, and I'm not mad about it. While I have always been somebody who feels like, when you're dressed and you've kind of washed the sleep off your face and whatever the case may be, you feel a little bit more put together, which is generally the case for me. I also find the value in when you're able to taking things a little bit slower and not guilting yourself for it, but realizing that maybe some days taking things a little slower is good for your overall like mental health and will help you be more productive throughout the day, as opposed to just being like, go, 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 right from the start. There are many days where I'm go, 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 and I don't have to be go, go, go today, and I'm trying to just take it a little easy. And if I can maintain this sort of pace today, then that means that tomorrow, when I don't have anything to do in the morning, maybe instead of being a total slug, I will kind of be at this pace where I'm still doing things, I'm just doing them at a little bit slower pace, and I'll feel more balanced as opposed to hardcore go, go, go on Friday, and then slug on the floor on Saturday. I don't know, I'm rambling. Okay, I lost lettering chicken there. Oh well. So this custody right here does not apply. I'm not gonna peel it up though, because I already built all of this around this strip. So I'm just gonna put a canceled on there. And I think that that will be kind of the representation of the fact that our custody has changed. Now I will say, I found a home for the piles of stickers, like the Happy Planner books and all of that. I found a home for that. But I did not, however, what the fuck happened here? I found a home for my piles of stickers. They're still not organized. The sticker organization is a different story, although I kind of count that differently than the office organization. I mean, maybe I shouldn't, but I am for the sake of expediency and the fact that I was already up until 11 and it would probably keep me up for till 11 the next 4 nights to work on my stickers. I don't have anything else to add to Sunday or Monday, but, oh yes I do, Jesse has band practice. Motherfucker, I am just all over the place today. Don't pay any attention to me. I am slowly but surely falling apart. Now that I've got that on there, and that's a Krissyanne Designs sticker and a Once More with Love music munchkin. So looking at today, I have a hangout tonight with my patrons at 6. I put down Katie's show, and I have to go grocery shopping at some point today. And those are the 3 kind of things that I had on my mind. I need to do the podcast work. I did not get any of the podcast work done yesterday that I wanted to, because I got sucked into the cleaning and the organizing. But I feel so good getting that off my chest. And none of the podcast shit was due today, so I'm okay. Sometimes that's nice when you schedule things earlier than they need to be and you don't get it done, you still have like time to get it done, and that's the trick I sometimes use on myself. All right, so the 3 things I put on this list aside from the grocery shopping are getting those tickets that I still haven't gotten yet because I'm waiting for my sister to respond to me. I'm gonna have to harangue her today. Getting that podcast up and mailing a bill. I also need to do some scheduling for next week. I'm gonna use one of these little Once More with Love computer things. I love using these because I think that they just look so nice. They're a little bit bigger. But what I like to do is color in the desk to make it match whatever color scheme I happen to be using. See, now it matches. I also have a lot of trouble coloring between the lines, apparently. I don't want to let your lines stop me, so I'm putting that there, and then above that I'm going to write schedule next week, because that is really what this is for. Next week, during the last week, which I can't believe we're already to this point, of Plan As You Go, there are going to be a couple of kind of more in-depth videos. One of them will be my March bullet journal setup, and one of them will be my power sheet setup for March. Like, they'll be part of Plan As You Go because they're part of my daily planning, but they will be longer, so that may excite you, that may frustrate you. I'm just letting you know. I gotta do some back-end shit on my website today, so I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write back-end shit. It's gonna sound like maybe my husband and I were fooling around in an uncomfortable place like the back of a Volkswagen. Name what movie that's from. Back end shit. Okay, and that's my day for today. I have some questions, as I have been taking lately. One of them I think is actually really related to me cleaning my office up and getting together stuff. I actually have several flat rate boxes full of stuff I am going to be passing on. I'm going to be doing some giveaways next week with my patrons where, so if you're one of my patrons, keep your eye out for that. And if you want to be one of my patrons, you should go check it out. Hashtag plug, hashtag shameless. I'm all distracted by my shameless plugs. I need to leave that open. But I was going through my shit and I have a lot of stuff that accumulates. Like some of it's because I get it, buy it for review purposes. Some of it's because I buy it because I want it. Some of it is because I get sent it. It feels very relevant to this question asked by Caitlin G on yesterday's video. She said, I would love for you to talk about consumerism in the planner community. I think I've listened to all your podcasts, but sorry if I've missed where you did already. It's such a debilitating thing for you, your mental health, but I see so much of the have to have within this community. And that's actually something I plan on talking about in multiple podcast episodes because it is something that I am very interested in. And as somebody who makes videos where I review products, it is actually at the top of my mind a lot of the time. Because when I review products, you see it in the beauty community a lot, and you see it a lot in the planner community as well. This is so awesome, you have to get this, the have to have mentality, like what Caitlin said. When I do a review, my entire goal is to offer you as much information as I can so that you can make informed decisions as to whether or not you want to buy something. I am never aiming to just say, oh, this thing is awesome, you have to buy it. Like, I don't ever want that to be how it comes off. And if it is how it comes off, then I would love for you to call me on it so I can redirect how I talk about things. Because I don't think anybody needs to have any of this. You don't need to. You want to, but you need to decide, do you want to have it because you think you'll make use of it? Or do you think you want to have it because everybody else has it or because it's the new shiny thing? And I've noticed this not just with like the supplies in the planner community, but with the planners themselves and how, you're looking for a way to keep your life together and you keep seeing somebody who looks like they have their life together using some planner that you haven't used yet. And so you think, if I buy that, maybe my life will be together. And then you buy it, and because you bought it because it was good for them, but you didn't really stop to reflect as to whether or not it would be good for you, then it's a waste of money, it's a waste of resources because you've got this thing that you're not going to use that now is a bunch of paper and shit that's just sitting dormant, and you're feeling bad about yourself because you spent money on something you're not using until the next time you see something that you want and you spend money on it, and then you have something sitting around that you spent money on that you're not using. I think there's a lot of emphasis on stuff in this community. And as I am going to keep rambling about this, I'm going to tell you that the doodle today is cheese. And I want some because delicious cheese makes me so happy. I don't consider that to be consumerism. I consider that to be consume all of it-ism. I'm gonna draw a wheel of brie because that's my shit. I see this problem of consumerism in the planner community manifest in a few different ways. There is the way, and this goes back to our conversations that we've had for the past few days about planner events. I've noticed that a lot of the emphasis on what events somebody might want to go to are now a lot of the times people start talking about all of the swag you get. And I personally, I appreciate all the shops who donate swag and I love to look at it and everything, but I would be fine if event didn't have any swag or just a few thoughtfully decided on pieces or things to go with workshops or whatever, because I'm not going to use it all. There's no way. It's enough stuff to last forever. And I know what I like. I like to have color coordination and samplers and shit like that. Just they don't fit my style. So because I know I'm not going to use very much of it, it feels like a waste, and then I wind up having to give it away, which is what I usually wind up doing. I give it to people who I think might actually get some good use out of it. But I love seeing it. I love seeing the creativity. I have discovered shops that I had never thought, because I am so stuck in my way, I have discovered shops that I absolutely love through the swag, so it is useful for them to give it. I just don't like that there is so much of an emphasis on the swag within the community. But it's not just the swag. You see it with the Happy Planner. I'm not calling the Happy Planner community out on purpose, but it's something that you notice that when new products come, people go and they buy the shit out of them and they have to have all the sticker books and they have to have all the planners, and you see people with stacks of planners and supplies, and it's you're never going to be able to use all of that to completion. You might use it for a week and then move to something else. And if that brings you joy and you really want to be doing that, then that makes sense to me. But if you're doing it because you feel like you have to have everything, it's concerning to me. Not in a, oh, I'm so concerned for you way, but in the way that you see people who have influence. I hate the word influencers, but people in the community who have influence over other people consuming and using all of this shit, and then the people watching them feel like they need to have it in order to belong or in order to be doing this hobby right. And you see that a lot. And it bums me out. And I know I probably contribute to it, and that bums me out too. One of the other things is when you have people who, and I don't count myself out of this because I get stuff for free pretty often. I buy a lot of stuff, but I also get stuff for free fairly often. And there are people, whether they're Happy Planner Squad people or they're EC Squad people or whatever, who get stuff for free a lot. And you see them talking about these things and how great they are, or if they're on PR teams, how great they are, how much they love them and all of this shit. But they didn't pay for any of it. And so when you see that and you're like, I need to buy all that shit too, you're spending your money on it and losing the perspective of somebody getting a bunch of shit for free and saying how much they love it so that you're willing to drop all this money on it. I feel like that's not always thought about because people get swept up in the excitement of it. And so that's just something I am trying to be more mindful of and I would love to talk about more. And I feel like I'm kind of rambling off into a whole new direction, but this is something that has been bothering me for a while, and I do want to expand more on it, especially on the podcast. So that will be coming eventually. Today's lettering challenge is the sweetest taboo. Stephanie, oh God, I'm gonna butcher this. Stephanie Shaluber asked, how do you keep up with the consistency of planning? I seem to be inconsistent with a planning style or anything that keeps me accountable. Are there things in your life that you want to be keeping track of? Like you say you feel like your life is pretty boring. My question is, what is it in your life that you are trying to keep track of or trying to stay on top of? Are you trying to learn a new hobby? Are you trying to build new habits? Are you just trying to stay on top of your laundry? Like, no matter how boring your life is there anything in your life that you are struggling to stay on top of? You say you want to be kept accountable. What is it you want to be kept accountable on? What is it that you want to be kept accountable with? Make a list of those things, take a look at them, and then maybe start simple with just a notebook or a notepad and making a list of those things each day for you to check them off, to get in the habit of checking things off when you do them. Don't get lost in the hobby of it. Just start really simple. Because then you'll start to see what you like doing. You'll get the fun of checking things off, which I will always champion the fun of checking things off. It gives me so much joy. The point I'm making is that if you start small with the things you know you want to hold accountable or have you held accountable to, I don't even know how to say that in the most grammatically correct way, your planning system will begin to evolve from there. Because instead of starting with a planning system and trying to make your life fit into that system, you're taking your life and letting the system evolve around it. And I think that that's a mindset shift that people don't always have when they see other people using a bullet journal or using an Erin Condren or using a Happy Planner or whatever the case may be, Hobonichi Weeks, which is the new hot thing that all the cool kids are doing. If there's anything I can tell you to try and be consistent, to try and find a system that's gonna work for you and what you need, the first thing you have to do is define what it is you need. And that's my best advice for you. Now I'm gonna go back to my monthly checklist, and I know I have at least one thing to check off here, and that would be clean and organize the office. Hell yeah. Knock that off here. I meal planned. I finished filming my 3 videos. I did get that done yesterday. I did not get these podcast things done though. There's a lot of stuff that still needs to get done this week. Hopefully I'll get it done this weekend. I guess we'll see. So as you can see here, I did not get the podcast shit done or this other work done, but I did, however, get the other things. So I'm okay with that. Not a lot of room here to make a list. I wonder if this is gonna work for me. While I'm making this list out, I have a question from Kelsey. It's the last question I'm going to answer today, and it is one that is close to my heart. Kelsey asks, any advice for someone who works long retail hours with constant human interaction on keeping up with goals when all you want to do is hide from everyone when you are off work? I try to plan things out, but it can be so hard when you don't even know your schedule a few weeks out. So for those of you who don't know, before I was living this YouTube, Patreon, freelancing life, I worked in grocery stores. I worked in grocery stores for about 20 years. Basically 2 really long stints at different grocery stores with one little short one in between the 2. I fully empathize with this question. The whole not knowing your schedule more than a couple weeks out. When I was working at both stores, I didn't know what my schedule was going to be until the end of that week. The schedule would get posted on, say, Thursday for Sunday. And that would be when I'd know. It can be very frustrating to try and schedule your life out when you're not sure when you're gonna be at work. Like, it's something that I empathize with because it is very frustrating. I also fully understand the whole not wanting to people anymore after being on for customers all day. I totally get that, believe me. So I have 2 tips here. I'm not sure how practical all of them are for you and your specific situation, Kelsey, but in general, these tips can be helpful for anybody, especially people with schedules that are inconsistent and people who have to people a lot and want to still move forward in whatever it is that they're working on, but don't have the energy necessarily or the ability to plan in advance. The first thing is start trying to look at the things that you want to get done as blocks of time rather than as appointments. Now, what I mean by that is, remember what I said before about the Post-it notes? How on a to-do list, consider like this item on a to-do list, and here's my monthly to-do list, and then it moves to my weekly to-do list, and then so on and so forth. If you imagine these tasks or these things that you want to be doing for whatever goals you're working towards, you have them kind of on your list, and you could even do this physically as opposed to just like, imaginary. But let's say you have these 3 different tasks that are associated with a goal that you're working towards, and you estimate about how long you would need to spend on one of those tasks. Then if you have them on like in a Post-it note system, let's say that you're doing your week and you find out what your schedule is on Thursday, and you're looking at your schedule for the next week, and you see that there's one day where you're off at a certain time where you're gonna have a little bit of time afterwards where you're not gonna try immediately go to bed or have dinner or whatever. You can say, well, I'm gonna move that to that time because I have time to do that task in that time. And then if it doesn't work out, you can move it to a different time frame. But by taking each task and envisioning it not only as what the task is, but about how long you might need to spend on it, you can start fitting them into your schedule as your schedule happens to you. You know you're not going to know what your schedule is. Like this is a constant in your life that your schedule is going to change and it's going to be unpredictable. And so the way to combat that is to think about the things you need to do as like Legos, maybe is another way to put it, that you can just move based on what's going on in your week and then shift as you need to, so that you're a little bit more flexible. Instead of saying, on Tuesdays at this time every week I'm going to be doing this thing, it may not work out that way. The other thing that you may want to consider doing when you're moving these things around is to perhaps think about what items are people heavy and which ones are not. Like for me, as an example, streaming with and I'm not in your situation, but like doing like a live stream or filming a video, even though there's nobody here, it feels like peopling because I'm having to talk and be present and be awake. And so if I knew that there was going to be a day where like I was working like 11 to 8 with customers all day, there was no time during the day when the store was closed or whatever, that would not be a good day for me to do peopling activities in my off time because I knew I would be burned out. But if there's a day where maybe I'm peopling a little less at work, then that might be a good day to do a peopling project. But on that 11 to 8 day, I may have an hour that evening to sit down and do work on my website because I know I'm not gonna have to people. I can just sit at the computer and put a podcast on and just do my thing. So thinking about each of your tasks as what the task is as an item, the time it takes to do it, is it a people heavy project or not? If you start thinking about them like that, you can start putting them in to the empty spots in your schedule as they come. If you can't tell, I'm a massive fan of Post-it notes, both as a visual aid, as a way to kind of wrap your mind around things, and as a way to move things around. This also could work in an app like Trello where things are treated like cards. But that's my suggestion for you in terms of actually planning your shit. When it comes to trying to get things done and you're over peopling and you really don't ever have a time where you don't want to, where you're so burnt out, this is gonna sound like asshole advice, but it's true, and I had to do this myself because the first couple of years I was doing my YouTube channel, I was also working full-time at Trader Joe's, and I was over people each day by the end of it. If you really want something, sometimes you're just gonna have to push through your hatred of peopling more. How many times am I gonna keep saying peopling? But you just have to remind yourself, figure out why it is you're pursuing whatever goal you're pursuing, and really internalize why it is you want it. Because if you can really be just like, oh, but I really want this, that will help motivate you to push past your burnout. And it won't do it every day, but it will sometimes. And if you can just get there a little bit, like once a week or once every couple of weeks, push past your burnout and do something because you really want it, you'll be able to do it more often because you'll make a habit of it. I hope that that helped. I would like to go back to Caitlin's question and talk about consumerism. How is it that you decide what you want to buy? Do you find yourself falling victim to the shiny object syndrome? I do fairly often. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on consumerism in the planner community. And if you would like me to do an episode of the podcast or episodes on YouTube or both, maybe a series on both, that could be really fun. Let me know in the comments if that's something you want to hear my thoughts on. And I want to hear yours, so let us know. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in tomorrow's Plan As You Go video.